Welcome to the ISE Studio Content Studio here at ISE 2023 in Barcelona. Our guest today is Emili Planas, Chief Technology Officer of MediaPro. Welcome.
Thank you.
Emili, we want to talk about HDR and white color gamut. It's a little bit technical, but we're in a spaceship here, so I think it's an appropriate place to do that. We see, that screen manufacturers are constantly evolving their screens and technology. They're getting better and better. But from a perspective of content producer, what's really important?
Well, first of all, this technology permits to have a more immersive video signal on our screens. And for the content producer, this helps a lot when we need to decide what is the feeling of the production for the viewers. Usually when thinking on the old technologies, we have a lot of limits on contrast ratio. We have a lot of limits trying to simulate the reality on screens because of the technical limitations of quantity of lighting and contrast ratio on the monitors, on the TVs, and the quantity of colors they can represent. From the production point of view, we needed to adapt our workflows to represent the best quality as possible when you have a screen and a transmission workflow that permits this better quality, but at the same time, respecting the limitations of the old quality or the old TV manufacturer standards. This is something a little bit complex sometimes because when we have specific colors that appears in white color gamut screens, but these colors doesn't appear in the old screens, sometimes we need to work with a compromise of what can be a good balance between the two qualities.
Okay. When we walk around ISE here, and we see so many LED manufacturers presenting their technologies also for virtual production studios. How do you see that increase in technology providers in this field?
Well, we see in this show that really the LED screens are absolutely ready for virtual production. That's one kind of use of these screens, very, very quality, with a good quality needed because of the cameras, because of what kind of productions we are doing. We can do cinema, we can do commercials, we can do live TV, as today we are in this virtual production set using a live workflow. And these LED panels today have the minimum quality needed to be used for this kind of works. We are very happy to have this kind of quality in terms of color gamut. We have very, very realistic look into these LED panels. We have very good control about this color space, this contrast ratio to match the colors on the screen with the setups of the cameras. And we can manage this, creating realistic effects as daylight or the golden hour in a mountain. This kind of pictures can be represented very, very well with a maximum quality for the camera that we are using, or the different types of cameras we can use for this kind of production with a very realistic look and feel.
And when we look at the other side of the spectrum for consumers, is there anything missing? I mean, you mentioned that not every TV can actually represent these kinds of pictures and colors.
That's one of the most difficult things. The end user every time is watching the content more and more in different screens. An example is I can start following my preferred series in my telephone, in the public transportation. When I arrive at home, the TV set is used by the kids, and I will follow with my tablet. Yeah. And probably the tablet will have not so much battery. I will go to my computer. And finally, when the TV set will be available, I will follow watching the same series in my smart TV. the content needs to be delivered to the end user with the maximum quality of each device. And not all the telephones has the same quality in screens. Not all the smart TVs has the same quality. Not all the broadcasters or streamers or OTT platforms are offering the same kind of quality. In terms of the TV manufacturers, they need to understand that the traditional TV or the traditional industry is working with the standards. It's very difficult to manage the quality on different screens if they don't work with the standards. But as a producer, we accept that, okay, we will not have fresh standards, because if you have 100 type of screens or 100 different devices, probably you need to create a specific version for each kind of device and adapt a little bit more this. But the manufacturers of screens need to understand a philosophy that I say much is not better in all the cases.
It's difficult to convince the engineers because they love it.
Yeah, but technologically, it's possible to add more and more pixels in the screens. We have 8K screens as normal, but from a point of view of psychological visual perception, humans have our limitations. And we can detect more resolution if we are close to the screen, and we don't need this resolution if we are far away. In 4K, we have 60 degrees of point of view. We need to be very close to the screen. Usually, in a typical 55 or 60 inches screen, we need to be at 1 meter of distance. If we are seated a little bit far away, we don't need 4K. But at any distance, we can appreciate the color space, the quality of the colors, and we can appreciate the contrast ratio. And we can see something like a window with no limitations or with no problems with the resolution. Resolution is only one factor. It's important, but it's important only if you are very close to the TV. The rest of the factors, the high frame rate, the wide color gamut, the high dynamic range, are much more important than the resolution. And I understand that it's difficult to explain this to the general market and to the people that are going to buy a TV set. But I think the industry needs to do the effort to explain this to the end user and to convince them that probably it's not needed to go far away than from 4K, basically because in Europe there are some limitations for the consumption regulations, but also because it's more important to have a better, more colors and more contrast ratio than more pixels. That's more or less the message I try to explain to the manufacturers.
So we have to talk to the marketing people that they finally understand the quality of the pictures is not about pixels, but about HDR and so contrast.
It's an easy message. We don't need more pixels, we need better pixels.
I like this one.
I love this one.
That's fantastic. Emili, very, very interesting. And I think we're here at ISE where all the manufacturers are there. So we have to spread the word. We have to educate. It's the quality of the pixels, better pixels and not more pixels. Thanks a lot for being our guest today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.